Mouthful TV, season 4, baby. We are back. Hey, family. Oh
Hey,
my goodness. I missed y'all so much.
missed y'all
Yes,
too.
Jen, how are y'all doing?
Good. What's going
Good. I
on?
missed y'all. I really missed y'all. Well, I
I
missed
didn't
you,
miss
so
your
I didn't miss
breath,
you.
Des.
Here
I
we
didn't miss your
go.
breath.
Here we go. It wouldn't be
Okay.
mouthful without the punches coming through. But look, y'all see, we have something special, right? So, to our mouthful family, we want to introduce you to our newest castmates. We have Miss Cherie Tyler with us and Cigar Head Fred. Hey, y'all.
What's good with it?
What's up, y'all?
What's up, y'all?
How
My
How
are
are
boy.
y'all? How
y'all?
y'all
Welcome,
feeling?
welcome. We're so excited to have y'all. We have big, major things lined up for this season. So, welcome to the family. Are y'all ready for this foolery, though?
Oh, you already know. I'm down with the foolery always.
Fred,
Always,
the
baby.
foolery. Okay. Okay. Well, we're ready for you too, Fred and Miss Cherie. But to our mouthful audience, don't forget, not only can you follow us on our Instagram and of course YouTube, but we are now streaming on all major platforms. So where you find us, trust us, we'll be there, whether it's Amazon, Apple, Spotify, you name it, you find us, come join us.
And what it would not be right if I didn't talk again about the taste of the culture. We talked about it all last season. If you have not gone to a tasteoftheculture.com, what are you waiting for? You get 25% off your subscription. You get every month you get a subscription of black owned wine, spirit delivered directly to your door. And he has some other products as well that he has introduced. So make sure you guys check that out. And also, when you're done with that, make sure you go over to mouthful-tv.com and subscribe to our mailing list. We'll have so much going on with Mouthful this year. So make sure if you want to stay up to date with everything that we're doing, make sure you guys check that out. And there will be giveaways to our subscribers. So subscribe right now. And last but not least, Small Business Tuesday. We do this every Tuesday on our Instagram. You can join our live to present your business, your brand, whatever the case may be, to allow the people to put a face to the business. So make sure you guys check us out every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on our IG, mouthful_TV.
All right, Des. Thank you so much for giving us the information about Small Business Tuesdays. Again, I'm Jen. Welcome to season 4, y'all. I'm very excited, especially about the topic today. Before we get into the topic today, I want to introduce our guest. I'm very excited, very hyped about this. This is Miss, I don't know who needs to hear this, but we ain't finna have no teachers next year. She done been on the Shade Room,
Baller alert.
Baller Alert. She done went viral about this teaching stuff. Let's welcome Phylicia Jimenez.
Hey.
Thank you so much for joining
Hey,
us.
Phylicia.
Thank y'all so much for having me. I'm excited for all that we're going to talk about because y'all already know how passionate I am about it. So, yeah.
Definitely.
Before we get into the topic, tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm sorry, Star. Did I take your cue?
Yes. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So y'all are too funny. So I've been teaching for the last 5 years. I absolutely love it. This is the first year that I am not teaching. That's a whole other story. Jen knows that one, but I was forced to resign last year over some very racist things that were happening on my campus and the way I reacted. And so it's been very interesting. But education is my first love. It is my passion. It's what I'm always going to fight for, especially public education, free public education. And so, but I am a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a podcaster. Like I'm an activist. I do all things. So I wear a lot of hats. Like I wear a whole bunch of hats. And so I'm excited to put on one of those hats tonight and talk to you guys about everything that's going on. So
Okay. And Phylicia, what is give us your podcast info?
Yes, thank you. So my podcast, you can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. So Spotify, Apple, Google, all the things, and it is Black Joy and Bootstraps. And if you want the content on Instagram, you just look for me, Phylicia Jimenez _. And yeah, that's how you find all of my stuff.
Thank
All
you,
right.
ma'am. All right, so
Yeah.
I mean, let's get into it. Basically, this is about teachers and what's going on with you guys. We have two educators here on the panel today. Well, of course, we have Star, and then Phylicia. I'm sorry, Phylicia. We have two teachers here, two educators that are going through this right now. So just kind of like what's going on in your head right now? How are you feeling? How are you
There
getting
too,
through
actually.
this?
Fred works at a school too.
Sure is, Fred. How are y'all getting through this? Come on, smart Black folk.
Prayer.
All Fred can do is
Man.
take a sip of his drink. That's it enough.
Look, hey, you're damn right. Cause boy, look here.
There's things that happen in history and in life, and teachers have always got the short end of the stick in a lot of instances. I never would have fathomed it would have come to this of where we're at. And I think what happened is the pandemic exposed a lot of things in the education field. And it really saddens me of what we're going through. And just to be blunt, we're fed up with the right to be, underappreciated, overworked, underpaid. What else? I mean, it just goes on
Undervalued.
and on. Yeah, undervalued.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Bad kid. I can imagine bad kid.
Ooh.
It's I'm gonna be honest with y'all. So I'm a substitute teacher. So like it's when I mean to tell you they move you as a sub, they move you all over the place. And the fact that like no, it's not that many men that's doing this right now. It's like when it comes to discipline for these kids, it's not there. It's like the kids are smart. They're very smart. But when it comes, they lack that push. And we're trying to give it to them, but it's so much going on. It's like, as a matter of fact, two teachers at my school just quit Friday. They're not coming back. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's a lot going on right now.
So just to give the people some background, and I know, Phylicia can probably attest to this, we take our certification seriously. You can't get out of your position that you're in unless you've met the deadline or they grace you out and you found a replacement. Typically, that's how that works. If you leave without one of those, things that they allow, your certification goes on probation where you're not able to teach. Teachers are leaving and not giving a damn.
Not giving a damn, huh?
Literally risking it all.
That's facts.
Like,
yeah,
that's
bad.
Yeah.
That's facts.
So that just goes to show they are out and not looking back. And even besides that, one of the things I want to touch on right now is this is what I have a problem with. I see so many posts on like my Facebook groups, with teachers and educators about, oh, what side hustle do you have besides teaching? We should not have to have a side hustle.
Absolutely.
We should be a want, not a need, not a necessity, just to get.
Back in the day, I don't believe. I mean, back in the day, I believe, educators were paid, I don't want to say fairly, but I mean enough to maintain and, stay above water. But now it's like, I've heard like some or maybe these are just the subs are getting like 10 or 12 an hour.
Right.
Like for like crumbs.
I think just in the past, teaching has always been a low paying job. However, right, when inflation has hit like it has, and we still have those wages the same, then that's the issue that we're having. Because before, I mean, lots of us grew up with parents that were teachers, and it's not a luxurious life. It's never been a luxurious life, but it's been enough.
Right.
And so now we're getting to the point where it's not even enough. And just like Star said, we have all these teachers that are like, so, okay, so you drive for Uber. Okay, so what's your side business? And there's all these things. And now you have to work aside from your 60-hour-a-week job, because so many teachers are working, leaving 2-3 hours after the bell to now going home, eating a quick dinner, and then doing Uber Eats or doing DoorDash or doing something, whatever it is that they can find. So it's rough.
And, there's other things that come along with that in the pay, because a lot of people, when they do talk about teachers, they like, oh, y'all don't get paid enough. I mean, you have stipends, you have things that, can up your salary. If you have a master's, if you have a doctorate, it's depending on
Yeah.
how the district does the raise. I'll say I've
Mhm.
been blessed enough to have, some of those things mentioned, but it's still not enough. So then when I
Right.
think about my counterparts that maybe just have a bachelor's and they're teaching a core class, what are they getting? They're getting pennies, and they're the ones that really have to go in and make sure that these students are passing their EOCs and the STAR test and
Mhm.
everything like that. I mean, God bless them, and at the same time, CTE and elective classes and teachers like myself, we add to that as far as what kids want to, find their passion in life and what they want to do. So everybody plays a part. It is a spinning wheel, it is a turning wheel. And the
Mhm.
fact that we are unappreciative the way that we are, it's really disheartening.
I think another thing too is I was in a district that paid a little bit better than a lot of especially the smaller districts. But even then, as someone with a master's, whole letters behind my name,
Yep.
all the student loans, right? I got paid $1,000 more a year. I need that to be understood. Not a month, not
Right.
a year.
A
Like
year.
not even literally like, it's not even $100 a month. So it's like, when you think about that, you know what I'm saying? You go and they tell you all that, go get as much education as possible, and that's going to help you. But, and again, that's coming from one of the districts that was better paying. And so I can't imagine the other ones where it's just like, and some districts do not pay you for it at all, right? They don't, they're just like, if you have a bachelor's or a master's, it's the same to us. And so they don't care. So
Right.
I mean, it's a lot. And another thing that you were saying is, when people say, teachers, they don't really get paid well. Now the issue is, so there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh my gosh, I couldn't do what you do. Like, you guys are incredible. And we love those people and we thank those people. But a lot of other people just really undermine the profession as well, because there's this idea of, you must not be doing as much as you say you're doing if you're accepting that pay for it. Does that make sense? So there's like
Yeah.
this depreciation factor from other professions as well, who do less and are making 80 to 150,000 a year, and
Yeah.
yet it's
We're
so
looked down upon. Like, we're looked down upon.
Correct.
Like, really?
And
Yeah.
y'all are raising pretty much, raising the future.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you guys a question too. So, with all the points that you guys have just given, your passion for the kids, your passion for the career. How do you feel about the kids? Like, if you were to leave Star, how would you feel? Like, do you feel like you left the kids hanging, or do you feel like, or I mean, like, would you feel relieved, or would you feel like, you've
Right.
left your kids hanging? Because
If
I mean, I wouldn't know what to do if I had a passion for, the kids, and then like but I've been treated so shitty that
right.
it's just like, forget it. Like, I'm leaving. Like, I love y'all, but I have, and then I have to find something else. Like, how do you
Yeah.
feel right now about the kids?
Well, my heart is always with the kids. My heart is always with the kids. I feel like they know that I always love them and I want the best for them. I teach journalism. So that
Yes.
comes along. Yeah. High
Sorry,
school
I love journalism.
journalism.
I taught it 1 year too.
Oh,
So fun.
yes.
Such a fun
Yes.
topic. Yeah.
But it definitely goes in more to not just learning about media ethics, right? Or fact checking or citing your sources. They want to know about real life scenarios. So we talk about it. We talk about things that they are uncomfortable with or feel like they can't touch on at home, maybe with other adults, maybe even with their friends, because that's what my job is, to be a mentor, not just teach the curriculum that I'm supposed to or I have a degree in, but to give them real life scenarios. How do you know what taxes are being taken out? how do you come to your parents and talk to them about certain things? So I think the rapport that I've built with my students, they know that if there ever was a time that I had to leave, it was because one, I prayed on it, and two, it's because it's something that was for my family. Now, being a wife and a mother, I don't have just Star to think about. I have my little guy to think about. I have my husband to think about in our household. And hopefully my move is to be a better person in the long run, and to be healthy in a mental capacity. You know, we talk about our students and their emotional well-being, but I'm sorry, people have to start talking about the adults and the teachers and our emotional well-beings, because
Absolutely.
these are not just students. A good teacher, these aren't just students, these are our cubs, these are our
Correct.
Yeah.
babies. You know what I'm saying? We take on so much. We become security, we become parents, we become the grocery store, we become the ATM to fit the bill for a senior activity. It's so much more that we are, and people do not give us just the accolades that we need. And it's not that we're going out looking for it, but give us that respect. So when Phylicia mentions those people that do respect us or tell us, you know, thank you so much for all that you're doing, like that hits a spot for us when we get those emails, because it's like, damn, thank you, you know, appreciate.
Yeah, and I think, excuse me, I think the reason for that is it's hard for a lot of people to separate the person from the profession. So they don't really realize and put together that you're an actual person that has a life outside of the school. And so they don't really put two and two together. And I know, start with you teaching or educating high school children who are older that may be able to understand some of those concepts. It may not be as easy to have that conversation for like elementary school teachers, you know, that can fully explain to a child, this is why I'm leaving because of X, Y, Z. They're not going to comprehend that. And so I think that I don't know if it's an option for you guys. I'm pretty sure it is. Like, I know we have EAP and all of that, but I feel like a lot of people or a lot of educators need to really focus on their mental health, because it is so difficult to basically take in everything that your kids are giving you all day long and then have to go home and deal with life after that. And then the fact that y'all are not paid well enough to really handle all of that, it is crazy to me. It is crazy to me.
Yes.
I just want to say too, as someone who did leave, even though it was involuntary, right? Like, and Jen has been following that whole thing or saw that whole thing, so it was pretty dramatic. I don't remember, but so you know, I was pushed out, and so my kids, I mean, it ended abruptly. Like my kids protested for me. It made the news. It was a big, like, it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But the crazy part was that a lot of them ended up, I don't know how this happened, but so many of them ended up like getting my number, like my actual phone number. I was like, where are you? Like, I just kept having to like ask them, like, where did you get my number? But like, you know, at the end of the day, like they were just like, Miss, I cannot believe this. I just, like, you're the best teacher I ever had. And so when you're asking, like, how do we feel about the kids? Like, those are my babies. And so as someone who has left and is not teaching this year, like, it's been very hard, but I also need to say this. I have not had a year this peaceful and relaxing in a very long time. And like mental health wise, like for real, like, I mean, my anxiety is at an all-time low. Like I'm not waking up in the middle of the night going, oh my gosh, when I said that shit, did I just ruin that kid's life? Are they going to make a whole song about me? Shit, am I going to be in a diss track? Like, damn, you know? So like, there's all these things, but like at the same time, you know, it's such a bittersweet feeling. Like you're always going to miss those kids. But I mean, just yesterday, you know, one of my former students cut my kid's hair, you know what I'm saying? So like, and then my kids find me on Instagram and everywhere else, you know, and so they'll do the same, especially those high school kids. They're going to find you and be like, Miss, oh my gosh, you're the best teacher I ever had. Like, just get ready for that, because that's when the real like accolades and the real love comes in. You think they love you now, like when you leave, you know, Fred, whatever, like that's when all those messages come in. So it's pretty, it's an interesting thing.
You know, for me coming into it, growing up, I never said I'll never be a teacher. Because I mean, even though I had some favorite teachers that really, you know, I came from that old school era. We all came from that old school era of teaching. So they all, we looked at them as like second parents. So like,
We used to get our ass whooped.
Man, what? Tear my ass up. You understand me? You hear me? Real
Fred,
talk.
you look like a bad kid too. You like one of them. As soon as you said, I wasn't gonna ever be a teacher. I was like, bad kids always say that. That's what bad kids always say. Then we end up teaching.
Look, I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you something. I was the kid, especially in elementary, because that's where I teach elementary students. So, I was a Power Ranger when I was growing up. I got in trouble for karate kicking my teacher.
Just kicking everybody's ass.
Man, I was that kid. So
why can't I see this
kids I'm around?
Literally.
I know you can see it, bro.
Y'all know we all went to the same school, right? Y'all know we all went to the same elementary school.
Yep.
Who was you kicking, Fred?
Any damn body that wanted that work and knows they did it.
How dare you?
But okay, look. All right, we ain't gonna talk about that.
No, I'm about to say we're not gonna get into it.
I love Miss Leopold, but let's
and Mr. Mac had to get it too when he was principal. He had to get it too because he paddled me. He paddled me one day and I chopped him in the neck. So we're gonna leave that there. I was one of the kids. But the thing about it is, so the kids that I'm around, I look at them and I'm like, they remind me so much of myself. So when they come up to me like, Coach Williams, man, thank you. I appreciate you for, showing me what I didn't know that I need to pull my pants up. Because I tell every time I see them, as a matter of fact, right now my third grade math, and I hate math with a passion. I hate math, but I can teach them that. I can teach them math. I told them, I said, look, every time I see y'all, I'm gonna ask y'all a multiplication question. If you don't get it right, there's 10 push-ups right on the spot. Y'all gonna learn these multiplication problems. They got to get it right. That's how I was taught. Y'all gonna learn the same way. And I mean, and it's not even. I'm talking about as far what.
He finna have some buff ass third graders walking around.
Hey, I'm telling you,
Ripped ass third graders.
It's like because like it's repetition. You have to start somewhere.
I want some
you have to start somewhere.
And the truth is, like the fun thing about that is when you have a rapport, because truth be told, we just started doing that with our own kids and they just think it's fun. Like we do like the little flashcards and like, as soon as they get it wrong, they're like, I got to do push-ups, right? So like, but they really do, like, they think it's fun. So I think that's important to know too, is that your rapport with kids, you can say and do anything, well within boundaries. You guys know what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And they'll love it. They'll love education still because it's fun.
And that's the thing. I make it fun for them. So like, even like when they come see me in the gym, or even if I'm in the classroom, but mainly when they come see me in the gym, same thing. I ask them a multiplication question when they shoot a free throw. Let's make fun out of it. So y'all know, like, this is not. I'm not getting on you. This should be fun. It's fun to learn stuff, and so I want them to remember that.
Let me ask you this, Fred, as an elementary school teacher. As an elementary school teacher, do you feel undervalued? Do you feel like you're not appreciated enough? I mean, because I know it's totally different, especially from, your age group to Star and Phylicia's age group. Do you feel not appreciated? Do you feel like your superiors or, the people above you are treating you how you need to be treated? Is that because I think there would be a difference. In my opinion, I think there would be a difference because of the age gap.
In a way.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you got it. You got it. In a way, Jen, I ain't gonna lie to you. It has its perks. It has its, I guess when it comes to, because I'm the one that the teachers bring when their kid is acting up.
Okay. I was gonna say that.
They come see me because they know, all right, so you want to act up. All right, cool. We're gonna handle that. We're gonna talk about it. And that's the thing, like I don't when I deal with them, it's totally different because I don't know their situation at home. I don't ask questions. I talk to them about it. Say, man, straighten yourself up, tuck your shirt in, pull your pants up. Let's talk about it. Let's take a walk. So after we talk, they go back and like, all right, so if I get another bad report, that means when you come see me in the gym, you're not gonna play with everybody else because you don't know how to act.
Well,
and they're like, well, no, I want to do that. When I'm talking about mainly, because I mainly deal with, okay, all right, so when it comes to I'm mainly third grade and fifth grade. So they third grade and fifth grade, they're at the age to where they know right, they for sure know right from wrong. Now, if under that, I don't really deal with them like that. I don't really see them as much as I do third grade and fifth grade. So with third grade and fifth grade, when they come see me, because they mainly come to the gym all the time to play in the gym. Everybody else, because they have, I think they have, what's it? They stay inside. They have in-class recess or in-class specials, stuff like that. So I don't see them as much as I see the third grade and fifth grade. You understand what I'm saying?
I don't want Phylicia to lose her thought. You were gonna say something.
No, I was just gonna ask two things. One is, how long have you been like in schools, Fred?
I ain't been in there that long.
Okay.
A couple of months.
I was gonna
actually.
say that one of my issues that I take is them always making Black males disciplinarians. And Star, I know you've seen this. Like, I know for a fact you've seen this on campuses. Like, it is just one of the most annoying things. And I didn't want to take away from what you were saying, because it may be a position that you love. But for a lot of Black males, it is like, you know, if you learn to build a rapport with a child, anyone can discipline them. But instead, you don't have the rapport. Therefore, you have to bring them to me as a Black male, someone who looks like them. And now, then don't get it twisted, right? Because we have that rapport, it's not like they're going to start hating us, but it's also like, you know, you get to have fun with them. And then when they start acting up because you haven't built a relationship or whatever, you got to send them out to us. Specifically Black males, though, Black males, when it comes to being a disciplinarian. And I just take so much issue with that, because I'm like, do better.
I was trying not to take it there, but you
wow,
you
what
did.
you holding back for? But even if you saying that, Phylicia, I'm curious I've been wanting to ask this question for people that are not familiar with your story, and I don't know how much of it you can share. Based on your last statement of that alone, I'm curious to know what actually transpired, because I'm not familiar with the full story.
Me neither.
Sure. And I'm gonna tell it like later on, like on like my platforms and stuff, but I will give you this. What ended up happening is, at my school, I was just starting to see a lot of racist things transpire. And I know, like, it is so much, y'all. Like, one of the things, and y'all, oh my gosh, let me back up. So I started to see a lot of racist things transpire. So racist that one time we had an assistant principal throw a dice on the table and tell the student to roll it, and that would be his discipline. So he was basically like, if it rolls this, you'll get a detention. If it gets on this, we'll call your parents. If it's this, it's ISS. And so regardless as to what it was, that's like slavery type shit. Like, this is not funny. This is not like, this is traumatic stuff that you are putting our kids through. And so there were things like that we were hearing, that we were seeing, and I felt like I was really going crazy. So I'll just say I was working for Mesquite ISD. Let me just go ahead and fucking name drop. I don't care. So I was working for Mesquite ISD. That's where Jen and I graduated from, Mesquite ISD. I went back. I was like, oh my gosh, everybody loves to pour back into their community. Whoop de whoop. So in that time, I started noticing that things had not changed from like when Jen and I were there, which is crazy, because when we went there, it was predominantly white. And now it is 80% minority. So I'm over here thinking 80% minority, you have to have changed, right? Like 80% minority. Oh my gosh, I'm making this too long. So long story short, sorry, I'm like, I don't want to like take up all the time, but long story short, I started seeing a lot of really racist things. I ended up telling my assistant principal that the things that they were doing were school to prison pipeline bullshit. He ended up taking that to HR. HR had already been, mind you, I've never been written up. I've never like anything like that, but HR was already pretty pissed at me because I was calling Mesquite out on a lot of things that they were doing. And so what ended up happening was they were like, this is the last straw. They basically didn't want me anymore. A person who has perfect evals, great rapport with all my coworkers, never had an issue, anything like that. Again, never been written up. And they basically said, hey, you need to resign. You're not going to work at Mesquite anymore. And I said, okay, bet. And that's kind of what happened. And so when my students got hold of that, my students got wind before I even had the meeting that said I was fired. Like, it was crazy. And so they did a protest again. It hit the news. Like, it was just a lot. It was a lot that was going on.
Wow.
But
And
isn't
I'm really sorry you had to deal with that.
Yeah, I mean,
that the
it's
issue
tough.
though?
Say that again.
Isn't that the issue though that we're seeing all around our nation, is that there are people that have minuscule mindsets, racial thoughts that are just fully BS, that are teaching minority children.
Right. And
And
so
it is baffling.
yeah, and so my issue, and another thing too, is this is when I knew I wasn't crazy, is when last year or 2 years ago, Mesquite, excuse me, 2 years ago, Mesquite was flagged for disproportionately by TEA. They were flagged for disproportionately disciplining African American SPED male students. And so they received federal funding. Yes, baby, go and keep that mouth open because there's more. They received federal funding from the state, basically, or federal, sorry, they received federal funds to hire a position, which is called the CCIS person. That's an at-risk position where they come in and that person says like, hey, this is what's happening. Like, they are basically there to analyze the data, do all the things, and shout out because this is my dude, Doug, but it was a white dude. You hired a white dude to tell y'all that you're racist. Like, what? But don't get it twisted. Like, Doug was my dude and I appreciate Doug. Like, I still hit him up, be like, yo, how you feeling? Like, all of that. But like, you hired a white dude and it wasn't lost on him. He's like, I get that I'm a white dude in this position, but like, literally you hired someone and this was every single secondary school in Mesquite. This wasn't just Horn High School, right? This wasn't just the school that I was at. And so every single secondary school had to have that same position because all of them were flagged. So, I mean,
wow.
Yeah. So this
is
part,
amazing to me.
Yeah. And so
That's
this
crazy.
is part of the Great Resignation. Like, people are looking around and saying, not only are all of those things that we have aforementioned, but also y'all are racist as fuck. Like, you're so racist that what? You know what I'm saying? So like,
so racist
love to
that
hear
we have
teachers
things,
cuss.
critical race theory.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Critical
And
race theory that none of us are teaching because we're not in higher ed. Like, you really just don't want us to teach about civil rights and everything else, but ain't nobody teaching critical race theory below post like secondary education. So like, what are you even talking about? Like, what conversations are we having?
I think not only with us being fed up of the way things are going, injustice with, how they want to rewrite history books. Look at what Florida's doing. Have you seen that, y'all? As far as, what is it? Say no to gay, or don't say gay. Yeah, don't say gay is a new bill that their House committee passed. And then there's something.
It was something else.
Something else about Caucasian people feeling uncomfortable.
Yes.
Talking about
that might be part of
like, don't make them feel bad about what they're, what happened about the past, or some bullshit like that. No.
Well, that was recently passed here too.
Was it?
Yeah, that was recently passed here too, where even if you work or in a school, like excuse me, like if you're doing a DEI training, then people can just opt out and you can't there's nothing you can do about it. Like, if they say, I don't feel comfortable in that a whole DEI training, then they can do that. It's now legal for them to do that, and they can just roll out. So
wow,
that's crazy.
Florida are twins,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
they
Florida
real
man,
BFF.
the whole state of Texas, like I said, is their Florida man too. The whole state.
So let me ask y'all this. How do you feel? Because it was a discussion on Instagram. Okay, so the Don't Say Gay bill, it would ban classroom discussions about sexual orientation and gender identity in schools, erasing LGBTQ identity, history, and culture, as well as quote unquote LGBT students themselves. So do y'all think, I guess my question is, which I saw a lot of back and forth, do you think that's something that should be discussed in the classroom?
I'm going to say no. The only reason being, if there was a situation where that conversation were to arise, then there should be an appointed person that guides the student to get through that situation. However, having a widespread, full-blown conversation,
because we heard a lot.
No. Because my thing is, it takes off the focus of the education
Yes,
of,
we're here to
you know,
learn.
trying to move forward in life. And that takes away from the parents being able to make the decision of when and how they choose to introduce that to their child.
I agree.
So-
I agree.
So I don't agree.
I don't
hate me.
either. Go
Don't
ahead.
hate
You go
me.
first.
Are you
Come
going
on,
to hate me,
educators.
Des? So
No,
Hey.
not at all.
Des is like, yes, you're gonna get this work. Okay, so he finna, what was it? What was Fred, a Ninja Turtle or Power Ranger? He finna hit me.
All
I
right.
was.
Yeah,
I
he
was.
finna Fred me. So I actually disagree. As a former English teacher, there's nothing that is truly off limits in my class, and everything is done with respect.
Yes.
And so as an English teacher, we're going to bring in stories, and my entire job is to teach you critical thinking. It is to teach you how to be around people that are not the same as you, and to respect them nonetheless. So literally every year, I have like 2 or 3 students max 4, and I think I'm pushing it in a year, that are Muslim, right? And so I still teach an entire lesson over Ramadan, like an entire lesson, because my students need to understand what this clothing looks like, what a hijab is like, what other cultures are. And that includes again, moving, like, you know, side note, like that is also dealing with the LGBTQ plus community. Like this is not me teaching you. By the time kids get to high school, they know what gay is, they know what homosexual, like they know
Right.
all of those things. When we have those discussions, and again, we talk about sex, we talk about drugs, we talk about everything. This is not to promote it. This is to have educational conversations.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
so, therefore, if we read something and a character in it is gay, we then, because again, especially within our community, we have an intense homophobic like presence within our community. So when a line comes out of, oh, that shit gay, I don't want to read that. Now we're gonna stop and have a discussion about respect.
Exactly. Because this is a no judgment zone. You respect everybody in
Well,
this
I guess
classroom.
us. I guess
And I was just
I
about
guess
to say, I
us as
think the conversation of
non-educators.
respect. Yeah, I think for me
Yeah.
as a gay man, I think I don't think of it in that aspect. I just more
Right.
so think that respect should be taught. Period. Like we don't
But-
have to focus the fact that
but
I'm gay for
everybody-
you to respect me.
Everybody didn't grow up the same. And
So
when
But
you do-
also explicit teaching is important, because that's kind of the thing, you know, not trying to cut you off or anything, but that's kind of how white people are like, I don't think race needs to be taught, racism needs to be taught. I think you should be taught to love everybody. And so, yes, while I get that, we can't live in a colorblind, gay blind, trans blind society. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, I
Yeah.
literally had
Listen.
trans students in my classroom.
Exactly.
And so, you know, they already know that bottom line is respect in Ms. Jimenez's classroom, but we also need to dig a little bit deeper as to why people deserve respect, and their history matters.
Mhm.
I don't even let my kids get away with colorism. When they try and
Right,
make those little
right.
snide
Oh, she
comments
bad,
about
she light-skinned.
colorism. Oh yeah, oh, that's a dark skin thing. Y'all woo 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 is what you're not gonna do.
Right.
And here's the thing that I wanted to also say. You know, I could count on almost 2 hands right now how many students have come to me in confidence to tell me that
Right.
they're gay.
gay.
They don't know
Yep.
how to come out to their
Yep.
parents. You know, and that is so hard, because you still have to be the teacher. You still have to make sure you're not overstepping your boundary, but they have trusted you enough to confide in you in something so intimate as far as learning about themselves and their sexuality.
Mhm.
You know, so not only do they have to deal with that on their home front, you know, in home life, but there are, you know, kids are mean. Let's just be real.
Yeah,
Kids are
absolutely.
mean.
Yeah.
So if in the classroom you could teach respect, and you could teach that everybody is different, but you need to respect them, then that's part of our job. Now, I'm not saying we should be just willy-nilly and just be like, oh yeah, LGBTQ, you know, put some structure into it. Hence, that's what Phylicia was talking about. And there comes lesson plans, you know.
Right.
I've even gone so far to think about, well, definitely sex ed needs to be taught, I think, in high school. Morph that in with, you know, a health class. And with that, morph the LGBTQ community and what things like that look like into a health class too, if you want structure. But we can't just sit up here and say that it can't be taught or ignored when these kids are walking the hallways and you have boys that identify as girls, or you have girls that, hey, Miss Ford, I got a girlfriend and it's a girl. This is life. This is life. This is our truth that we're living in. So
something that's also important to note is these are scare tactics, right? Because I don't know. I mean, like, even in my classroom where the discussion is so open and so broad and so respectful, I don't know anyone that's just teaching. Are we like, this is a scare tactic to just make it seem like teachers are just teaching people to be gay or teaching like first
We
of all,
didn't make them
because
gay.
I'm so liberal, I'm like, okay, I don't even care if someone's doing that, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, I'm just like, y'all are making people think that we are doing things on a very grand scale that we're not. Like, I mean, we think about the teacher in Texas, was it Fort Worth area, that was just fired because she had a picture of her wife, right, on her desk. And so, we
Really?
it might or might not be Fort Worth. I have to Google that before we get off this call, but but literally, like, we're still, when we still have these things happening on this level, and you're saying we need to say no to gays, don't say gay, whatever the thing is,
don't say gay.
Like, that's such propaganda that it's trash. Like, it is just making people believe that we're doing things that we're not. Like, we're just absolutely not doing those things.
Just keep being a babysitter,
right,
and teach what we tell you.
Yeah, we're told not to talk about it. We're told not to talk about it. When I went through my training, and they were like, well, anything dealing with race, if kids have a question about race or anything about being gay, anything like that, don't talk about it at all. Or if it gets too much, then you report it. Like,
now, what you look like as a Black man? A kid come up to you and say, "Mister, was this racist? One of my friends did X, Y, and Z. Is this racist?" And you going, "Hey, buddy."
Right. Like, what are you supposed to do? Are you just supposed to ignore it?
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, for me, and knowing that the schools I'm at is mainly a minority. You know what I'm saying? So the kids, they have questions all the time. As a matter of fact, they had questions about Martin Luther King. They had questions. A lot of kids didn't know. So I told them, I'm not going to sit up here and hope. That's history. That's important for you to know your history. It's important. So even kids that weren't a minority, they had questions too. I'm gonna answer. I get that they were telling me to ignore it and not say anything about it. Or just skip over it. I can't just skip over that.
I mean, again, going back, I think this is one of the major reasons why people are leaving. Like, the fact that you can't even do your job in a way that's logical, right? Like, y'all are going to continue to throw out scare tactics. You're going to continue to do these things that like scare the masses, and no one's doing that. Like,
Phylicia, do you think that because as of now, what we know that there's 8 superintendents that have resigned. 8. And like one of your,
I think we're up to 9 now.
I mean, and like one of your videos said, they're making bank. This not no little just penny pinching type of profession. I honestly think, and maybe it's the conspiracy theorist in me, I feel like they know something we don't, or
they absolutely do.
The issue's about to hit the fan. They do, and they got out.
A large part of that too, and just in talking with some of my good friends, a large part of behind the scenes things that are happening is the fact that that TEA is telling them about their attendance. So this is a whole other thing, and it's a whole other topic, and y'all can check out my TikTok because I'm definitely gonna drop these. But so what's actually happening right now is these superintendents are well aware that what's about to happen in these coming years is that funding is about to be cut immensely and intensely and immediately. I don't know about that alliteration, but there it goes. So they are realizing, like, yeah, no, we're not, you're not going to put that on my back, or you're not going to put that on my name as the superintendent, that this is what's happening with this district. And so
let me go before everything burned down. Bye.
Exactly. Like, let me take my money and go. But on top of that, the crazy thing is not only are their salaries high, but they like, when I said they're in the high 300,000s, Mesquite's superintendent is the second highest paid in all of North Texas. Like, we are dealing like just so many that are extremely like well paid, and they're getting car allowances, they're getting insurance allowances, they're getting clothing allowances, they're getting speaking allowances, they're getting traveling allowances. Like, at the end of the day, some of them are pushing high 400K as well. Like, once you bring in all them receipts and them reimbursements, and baby, I have them, because Black women love receipts.
Okay.
Like, literally, Black women love receipts. So literally, we have all these things that show you how much money they're actually making, and it's stupid. Like, and they're like, bye, holla.
That's crazy as hell. That's crazy as hell.
And I'm curious to know, like, in hearing like all of that, like everything that y'all deal with, being educators, like, I'm curious to know from each of you, like, if you can only choose one thing, because we went over a lot of problems, if you could choose one thing that you could resolve, what would it be? And how would you do it?
This has been like the main question that everyone has been asking, right? And this question is as difficult as saying, if you could change one thing about America, what would it be? And
I can imagine, because there's so many things.
Right. And the issue is that what's happening in the educational system right now is so systemic, right, that it is difficult to just pinpoint one thing. But I can give you a top 3 of mine, like I've been giving, because I think that those are important. And then Fred and Star, you can say, nah, take that away or whatever. But one is, I would do like just unlimited funds. Like, no school would be without funds. If you say you want it, you got it. Like, and it's not, I promise you, like, with the way our military budget is, we have the money. Like, we have the money, right? It's like Arby's, we have the beef. Is that what it is? We have meats. Right?
we got the meat.
We got it, right? So that, I would also say that leadership needs to change. Especially if you haven't taught during this pandemic, no, like, you need to you need to sit down from that leadership position, and you need to at least be in the classroom for a semester to get a taste of it. But at the end of the day, like, these leaders, we have leaders up in TA that haven't been in a classroom.
Yeah,
they need to go.
They
need to go. And so that third thing is, there needs to be this vetting process within the system where we are able to vet racial biases. We need to be able to, and those people, because in education, we all know that trash ass teachers become admins. Not all the time, but far too often we see people who couldn't make it in the classroom become admin, and we go, what you mean, Mr. Jones? Is that how y'all hire him? He sent more people to the office than anybody else on his campus. Like, how this man has no classroom management, but yet somehow they become leaders. So another thing would absolutely be that you have to be a tried and true, incredible teacher in the classroom to be a leader. Like, and I think that oh my gosh, there's so many things.
Yes, honey. No, that's
like,
that's just called passion. That's called passion. And
I already knew it was going to be a hard question to answer when I asked, but
I mean, she did it with passion and so eloquently, and that's just real. It was from the heart. It was from the heart, cuz.
It's like, mute her damn mic. It's too much.
No, sis.
No, you are good. You are good with me.
I think I'm going to continue on, and I agree with all of the points that you hit. So I'll just continue on in the classroom aspect. Well, one, let me say more pay. Teachers definitely need more pay. Yeah,
I always remove that because it's like, boom, done.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy we have to still say it. Crazy we still have to say it. So more pay. Classroom setting. Please, parents, guardians, we have to teach our children technology. Okay. The fact that they do not know how to write an email, they want to write everything they want to say in the subject line. Okay. That's a problem. They don't know how to go to their Gmail or Outlook. Parents, guardians, teachers, mentors. If you're an adult, hell, help them out. Okay.
The crazy thing about that, what? Every millennial remembers that class that we had to take, right? We remember them putting the little thing.
Was my favorite class.
BCIS.
Oh, I excelled there. But let me
What?
tell you something though. In elementary, because at that time when we were little, our parents weren't really tech savvy. Like they didn't really, I mean, some of them knew, some of them didn't. I know my mom didn't. And they weren't really, they weren't really adamant about me learning about the computer or whatever the case may be. We had computer classes in elementary, and that's really where I learned.
That's when they put that board over your hands and you had to
Yes, that's
Yeah,
where
tight.
that's where
Yeah,
I learned. That's where I learned everything about computers, and then like from there, I just kind of self-taught after that, I just kind of progressed by myself. I just taught myself how to use the
No, but
computer. use
here's my
electronics.
frustration. These kids can tell you everything under the sun on how to do a TikTok. Baby, they
Yeah,
doing
they need to
advanced
teach me.
filters,
That's what I don't know how to do.
segues, all of that. But how to write an email, and it's real. And I'm telling them, no matter if you go to corporate, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going into the military, a trade school, you have to know how to write, how to access your email. And the fact of that's not occurring like it should, it's scary. And then my last thing
Well,
would
so
be
my
entitlement.
I'm sorry to cut you off. So they don't have like a BCIS situation in schools
They
anymore?
do. They have BIM and they have, I mean, they have those classes, but you only have to take one like semester or 1 year of it. But remember, like, just like Jen was saying, y'all remember we started those classes in what, third grade? Like
Yep.
second, third grade, where like,
Second grade.
yeah,
Was it
second, third
second?
grade.
Yeah, we started third. I think it was third grade.
I think
By
we
the
started
time our
third.
kids, and again, I don't know elementary curriculum, but like by the time the kids get to us now, they're typing like this. Like
Or
with
like
their two
this,
fingers.
one-handed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
Are you
I had never seen anything like that.
Yes.
Yes.
No,
Like
yeah, for
our
real.
generation.
Yes.
Real
And
life,
it's
real
not,
life.
it is not just like one or two kids in a class. It's like an entire class
Yes.
that doesn't know where to put their fingers and doesn't like the entire class. And you're like,
They'll
Doing
do a
this.
caps lock for a capital letter as opposed to just pressing
Shift.
shift and
Pressing
capitalizing.
shift.
Like,
This my mind. is
Okay, we're
blown.
not finna talk about these kids.
no.
but
But
it needs to be
Jen,
talked
but you
about.
can't, it's not talking about them, it's giving you the real as educators and what we see in the classroom that's
Real.
wrong.
Yeah.
Because if we
Because
don't have
my
these
mind is
conversations,
legit blown.
these
Like,
parents
I
are
would've
going to
never
think
thought
that
that.
everything is still okay. And it's not. We're
Trying
not
to teach.
babysitters. The parents have to take accountability as well. Okay, get your son or daughter into a free computer class. Send them a mock email and show them how to actually write a professional email. Greetings, Mr. Such and Such. Not you mark me absent from school.
with
Right.
nothing. They don't,
With
baby, I don't
nothing.
even know who this is that's emailing me. I don't
Right.
see your name
Because
anywhere.
let me tell you something. Chocolate Baby Tay 2005. Who are you?
Right.
Is this Shantavia or is this Taylor or is this
Right.
Tavon? Baby, I don't know which Tay you is. I don't know. Because all y'all try. I don't know.
Wow.
I think also
amazed.
now you know how we grew up. School wasn't an option. Now and it starts in elementary. These kids, what I mean to tell you, I when I see these kids, I mean, where you backpacking? Where your books? Where's your pencil? They come to school with absolutely nothing. I'm like, come on, man. Like, we would get our ass chewed out for not having a goddamn
from the
you come in there
teachers, from our mamas.
Man, look here, and it's sad because now like school is really looked at as an option. When these like I gave the kids some homework to do. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Homework.
Look,
they don't even give our kids homework.
They don't. The kids don't know homework. They looked at me like I was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I said, yeah, bring it back. Bring it back to me. I just wanted to see who would do it. Only 3 kids out of a class of 20 brought back this stuff.
Oh my God.
And I asked one of my students, I asked, I said, where's your stuff? She said, well, I had to take a bath and I had to eat. So I didn't do it. You didn't do it? I'm like, it's just like now it's like now school is looked at as an option. Kids are not, they're not showing up for class. They're not showing up for school. They miss more classes than they
why do y'all think that is? Why
that goes into my third point, entitlement. These children are entitled. They feel like, yeah, it's bad that everything should be given to them, that they don't have to do it. And listen, there are some very diligent and great parents out there, and thank you to those. But some of these parents are ending up being just their child's partner, their best friend. So they're not getting, there's no more big mamas. You get what I'm saying? There's no more big mamas and
Yeah,
nanas
about
and
to
the
say
that on
papas and,
Facebook.
it's
Just
just
Yeah.
like, damn, why are y'all so entitled and somebody's trying to help you? You just feel like, I don't have to do it. Or you say, you are going to go the discipline route and you're going to call their mom. She's not going to answer.
She's not gonna
You
answer.
know,
Or if you
you
or
know,
if you talk to the parent, like, all right, and they still
one
come
thing I
back to the
would,
school the same way.
They don't.
came
They
in.
don't care.
They don't
well,
care.
I think it's important too to note that this generation, depending on when you started having kids, they're being raised by millennials. And what is the generation right above us? Gen X? No, is it Gen X?
Yeah.
It's right
I
above us
think
between baby boomers.
I think so. Yeah.
And so it's us that's raising them. And so there's a lot of introspection that has to happen amongst us that goes, and I say that because let's think about all of us who were raised in church. It annoyed the hell out of us. Monday we was here, Wednesday we was at Bible study, Monday we was at choir practice, Sunday we at church for hours and hours. And so what ended up happening is we didn't want to do that to our kids, right? And so a lot of our kids don't know church at all. And I'm not trying to make this a religious thing. I'm simply using it as an example of this is also low-key what happened along the way with school, right? Like it was such a big deal to our parents. I mean, again, Jen, you know how our high school looks. There's lockers all alongside. They do not issue lockers anymore because kids don't have anything to put in lockers. And so school is just completely different. Like there is not one kid, the
Wow.
only kids on the campus that I saw, and I can be corrected by anyone who watches this, but the only kids that had lockers were in culinary because they would put their aprons and such in there. But other than that, there were no kids on campus, and perhaps art. I think like the higher up art kids.
That is crazy.
But they
crazy.
do not issue them anymore, and they do not like. So again, this is our generation that's raising this kid. So there's a lot of introspection and accountability that has to be had on our end too, to say where is that shift and what is it that we need to do, right? Literally every day I step outside, y'all have videos and pictures to prove it. Every day that I step outside, in my alley are 10 to 20 kids that are skipping. I remember when Jen and I were in school, they rounded our asses up. Now, mind you, when I say our asses, I mean they asses, because I had a mama that wasn't playing with no skipping. So they would round them kids up. Police would come around like they were, all the people. There were people that would patrol the neighborhoods and take your ass right on back if you tried that. And then you face disciplinary actions. So there's so many things that have changed now. I know, Jen, I'm looking at your eyes, girl, serious.
Look,
like,
it's fifth graders. It's fifth graders.
It is shocking to me.
And leave class. They get up and literally like leave class and don't come back. And as a matter of fact, I stopped 3 students from leaving class. I stopped them. Man, where y'all going? Man, I'm tired. I ain't gotta be here. Yes, you do have to be here.
So let me ask you this, because I'm really curious to know, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but have y'all seen like a big shift in, per se, the sense of entitlement since the pandemic? Like, was it that still as big of an issue prior to the pandemic, especially the entitlement? Because I can see kids going from being in a traditional classroom to going virtual, right? And so now they have every resource and every reason to not really feel motivated or want to do anything because they're at home. And the work that they are provided at home, all they have to do is Google, copy and paste. Because I've physically seen it. Like my own little cousin was like sitting on the couch and copying and pasting in all the answers to these questions and was done in like 5 minutes and slept the rest of the day. I was like, what is this? And it was only like 11, 12 o'clock.
Yeah. I do. I feel like it's always been there, this generation. And I mean, this is the generation that was born basically out the womb with technology, with an iPhone in their hand.
Yeah.
Or Android.
Yeah.
Girl, bye. Girl, bye.
They are literally what we call digital natives, right? They are native to technology. They are native to all things digital. And so something that I would like to say, I don't know if it's entitlement, but what ended up happening is at the end of 2020, when COVID hit, March, everything shuts down, the kids immediately. So that decision that was made which I believe was a very fair thing to do. From March, they decided that from March to May, none of that would matter, right? And so a lot of people disagree with that, but I believe that that was absolutely fair because you had kids at home without technology. They had no way, the inequalities were too great for you to say, no, we're going to continue to count school as normal. And so what ended up happening is a lot of kids thought we are, damn near 2 years, a year and a half after that. Well, it'll be 2 years in March, but we still have kids that are kind of like in that mentality of this won't matter. And so somehow 2 years, and not just that, but it's because y'all, like, when I say y'all, I mean the leaders are like, everything matters now, but the state of the nation and world has not changed. We're still in this pandemic. Kids are still barely surviving, barely scraping by. And so I think that there's a lot of factors that go with that, along with, is there a sense of entitlement for a lot of kids? Yeah. Is there still a struggle, with them just believing that this is real? Yeah. Like there's just so much there, and it's unfortunate.
That's real. That's real.
It's a lot. And this segment unpacks a very, very small portion of our frustration, of our heart, of our transparency. It's a lot, y'all. The great resignation is real.
I can't wait for this round table. I hope we do a round table for education as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
I'm still wet behind the ears. I'm still wet behind the ears with this teaching, but I'm making it though.
Something that I think goes without saying is that teachers, good teachers, damn good teachers, like Star, like Fred, like myself, because I don't have a question about whether or not I was a damn good teacher. We love those kids so much that we stay in toxic relationships with these districts and with education. Just like people say, I'm just in it for the kids in toxic and abusive relationships with spouses or partners, right? Well, the kids, when things are dead and it's such a dead end. Like when you look at the starting pay of a teacher to where they max out at 25 years, the difference is usually about a $10,000 difference. Like for 25 years.
Let that sink in.
Yeah, let those numbers sink in, right? Is that, let's say, for example, Mesquite, I think they started about 54, 55 now. And then they're ending, it's a little bit higher, but for other districts, that cutoff is about 65,000, 67,000. You don't even
for 25 years. I know you fucking lying.
And not just that, but you're no longer getting bonuses. Well, in the sense of, a lot of districts are no longer doing the bonuses where it's like, you had this many kids pass Star, here's your bonus, or that is non-existent. So literally what you get are those little measly ass $500 bonuses that a lot of people like to do. Yeah, a year, sometime around Christmas or whatever.
Ew.
So it goes without saying that those that have been in education and want to stay in education, the only reason they're staying, excuse me, is because of the kids. There is no other reason. They're not staying because, and there are quite a few that just have good ass admin, and those admin are killing it and they love it. Right. And so therefore they're staying for the kids and they're staying for that good admin and they don't want to go. But it goes without saying that they absolutely love the kids, and that should never be questioned. And the amount of work that they do, it's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable.
And let me just say this to just double back on Phylicia real quick. If to any educator out there, if you are thinking about moving to something that is more beneficial and healthy, by all means do it. They say we only have one life to live, and you can't play with that. You can't play with your happiness. You can't play with your health and your mental. If you can look back on your teaching career and say, I did what I was put on this earth to do for that season, then freaking kudos to you, because that's what it's about. But not to go religious, but I will, because God will put us into the positions and the seasons that we need to be. So if it was for Phylicia's 5 years and he has something in store for her, That's what it is. And it's going to be bigger and better. But the imprint that she made on her kids is what's going to matter. Where 15 years down the line, they're going to be like, I remember Miss Phylicia. Yeah, girl. And that's what's going to make the difference. And I hope they do that with Miss Ford Hamilton and, you know, with Mr. Fred, Mr. Williams, and all the other good teachers. So do not be apologetic for taking care of you and your family and your mental. It's very important.
Amen.
Perfect. And I think that's a perfect place to close this episode out, y'all. And I want to say that my idea of educators in the school system, period, has changed so much in this conversation because I think I was more so still understanding school to be the way that I remember it to be,
Right.
and not realizing
Man.
that so much has changed. And I've always appreciated teachers, but I appreciate y'all even more now. Thank y'all so much.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for coming on. Like we really,
Yeah.
Phylicia, really enjoyed the conversation. It was really good conversation today.
I really
Definitely.
appreciate y'all. I do want to tell y'all, in May, my kids that I taught in 10th grade, my first year teaching 10th grade are graduating this year. And so in May, actually, the beginning of June, if y'all could check on me, because I will not be okay. I will be crying lots and lots because my babies are going into the real world. So just don't forget to check on me in June. Y'all just go shoot me that. Girl, how you doing?
I got you.
Definitely.
Y'all make sure
I got
y'all check on her, Phylicia Jimenez _. Y'all hit her in her DMs. Y'all check on her.
Yeah.
But thank you, y'all, once again for tuning in to another episode of Mouthful. Like I said, this season is going to be so dope, y'all. We have so many things to look forward to in season 4 in 2022. Can y'all believe it's 2022? Can y'all
Yeah,
register?
I can believe
Can't
anything
believe
at this point. Anything is possible at this age.
Absolutely. And
Thank
once
y'all
again,
so
make
much
sure,
for having me on. Thank y'all.
thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for
coming
saying
on.
yes. We
And
appreciate you
once
for coming
again,
on.
before we head out, make sure once again, y'all hit our website, mouthful-tv.com, subscribe to our mailing list so that way you can stay up to date, everything Mouthful. And again, make sure you follow us to IG for the after party so y'all can continue this conversation and give us y'all point of view as well. So make sure y'all join us. Peace out, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And we